Are you a member or have ties to extremist groups or organizations? No. Do you use drugs or alcohol? Yes. Do you trust Agent Morgan? Are you ready to begin? I'm gonna fund your research, Doctor.
Push the boundaries of science, the full support of the government.
It's enough to drug the whole state.
Funding. That's what you always wanted.
Yeah. Figure out what to make of him.
The CIA supported young psychiatrist experiment.
Shelley Powers, arsonist.
It's Laura.
Why were you arrested?
You think I'm sick?
Politics and science make the worst of friends.
I had some questions about where my research is being taken.
I don't like questions.
Has mind control been achieved?
What the hell do you think you're doing?
We turn our eyes away for even a moment. Filth will overcome us.
So I play that to kind of set the stage for something that I've been thinking. For those of you that don't know, MK Ultra was a CIA program. Let me go ahead and go to Rock for this. So MK Ultra was a covert CIA program officially running from 1953 to 1973, aimed at developing mind control and interrogation techniques. It involves illegal experiments on human subjects, often without consent, to manipulate mental states and behavior. Methods included administering drugs like LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, electroshock, and psychological abuse. Conducted at universities, hospitals, and prisons, it targeted diverse groups, including U.S. and Canadian citizens, to explore ways to extract confessions or reprogramming techniques. Declassified in 1970s via FOIA request, it's documented in state hearings, such as the Church Committee in 1975, and remains a symbol of unethical government experimentation. Some sub-project continued covertly post-1973, though evidence is limited. So I say all that to kind of just give you a really quick rundown. Maybe a lot of you already know about MK Ultra, but I just wanted to kind of do a little dive in my theory as to what possibly is going on right now and how it is continuing and why we're seeing everything that we're seeing currently. I just have some thoughts on that. Not that it ties into Charlie Kirk and everything that's going on, but it does. I believe it does in some way. I have this notion, or I've been thinking that I believe that the new MK Ultra right in here, very compact, pretty slim, and we buy it. We buy it, consume it, and we're the consumers of MK Ultra currently. Now, that's kind of that's not exactly true. I think I'll hash out exactly what I'm thinking or my thoughts. We have a society that is currently relatively sick. I think we have, if you look at sub-Saharan Africa and places that are relatively poor and impoverished, their suicide rate doesn't come close to what we have. So in that time, back, if you look at, when they were originally doing this stuff, you could see the clothing and stuff like that. During that time period, it was very difficult there wasn't ubiquitous, there wasn't this massive amount of communication and ways to get across ideas to people and thoughts to people. So what we have here is when you're consuming content like this, anything on YouTube, anything on Instagram, TikTok, X, it's something that's been curated for you. It's literally been individualized to you. It's feeding you a feedback loop in order to keep you there. I'm at the point now where I don't know what I actually think and don't think. None of us really do, because everything has been curtailed by what we consume. So whether it's foreign actors, whether it's whoever controls the algorithm controls the people. And I just did this quick little check. I think it was under Grok. Let me see. Yeah, this is actually right here. So I essentially asked Grok. I don't know if you could see this. Yeah, so I essentially asked Grok. It gave me a long thing. But I said, if our algorithms functioned as a MK Ultra style program, and you have a population of 340 million people like the United States, or I actually said the population of the United States, what would be the percentage of people that would be driven to murder if that was the case? Obviously, it gives you a bunch of stuff. But in an unchecked scenario, the United States amplifies danger far beyond MK Ultra. It basically said that, I think it was up to here. So the violence, 1 to 5% progress to act like murder, ends in hyper-targeting of state psyops. So it states right here, is a wide range, obviously, but between 17,000 and 500,000 people could potentially be pushed to murder annually. So in this hypothetical scenario, that's kind of what you're getting, what you're given. And it just makes sense. No one believes that CIA, Assad, and what is it, MI5 or whatever the hell it is, these organizations, these groups, like all that, the old school style of doing things where you would have subgroups and things like that, and money would be exchanged, that's still going on. But when it comes to the population at large, it's relatively easy to think that if an issue is pushed, or you're looking to destabilize, you're looking to, maybe you can't get to the point where if you're targeting somebody specifically that you can get the outcome, but you can get somebody that's relatively close to what you're looking for. And you put them in a scenario, you put these people in a scenario where they're mentally disabled, they're on massive amount of drugs, that, on the drugs it says you could be prone to suicidal tendencies or to violence. And then you pump them with a steady stream. I think about it's the same thing like in Clockwork Orange. I think about it as the exact same thing, except we are the ones holding our eyelids open and just pumping this stuff into ourselves 24 hours a day. I mean, you have to think about how much the average person sits in front of a screen. It's got to be half the day, if not longer for most people. I mean, especially if you're at work and you're in front of a computer. If you work in front of a computer, you probably have, a good 18 hours, 17 hours a day that you're in front of a screen. Especially if, when you're commuting, you're probably listening to a podcast. When you get there, you're sitting in front of a computer. You're taking that in. When you're on your break, you're on your phone. When you wake up, you're on your phone. Before you go to sleep, you're on your phone. It is just a constant bombardment of these signals and a feedback loop. If you were the person that hated Charlie Kirk, that would just keep popping up on your screen with things confirming that hatred. Then you couple the fact that you're mentally ill, and you couple the fact that you're now on taking these radical drugs, and then let's say in this person's instance, his subgroup he's part of the LG AIP whatever group that he's part of, right? So then the algorithm's going to say, all right, these things cross over, right? All right, so you're pro LGBT, you hate Charlie Kirk, so now we're going to intersect those things, and we're going to give you a feedback loop that's showing you Charlie Kirk saying anti-LGBT things, and then that's just going to feed into itself until this is what you get. So I just find it, I don't think that with all the people saying that they believe Israel's involved, or this is a psyop or whatever, or there's more here. I don't think we're ever going to find that, because I think we're in the next level of things. I think we're beyond the point that there's going to be government actors tied to anything, right? Maybe in the depths of the algorithm or in the AI that's whatever promulgating this stuff, you may find a string of code that says, this government told, was pushing this for this particular reason. That might be the only way in the end that you may find something. But I think in these types of scenarios, when you have somebody that was mentally ill and that was pushed to this because of probably what they were consuming, and then they're around people that are of the same mindset, the same mentality, and they're all consuming it and they're all sharing it, and it just continues to grow and to fester. That is indoctrination. It's no different than getting someone to suicide bomb themselves. It's the same. It's literally the same thing. It's just done in a massive scale where if you have 500 million people and you can just get 0.0001% of those people to act in this manner, then you can move the needle. I mean, think about the level that it takes of indoctrination to get a young man to blow himself up. It's a fascinating thing if you think about it. But it's prominent. It's out there. We've all seen it. We know what it looks like. That's I think that's what we're facing. I think that's what is ultimately going on. I think that if you do a deep dive into this program, you're going to find that it's probably alive and well. And I think this is how they're capturing the minds of the people at this point. Guys, if you're still here, please subscribe to the channel. I'm a small channel trying to grow. It helps me out a lot. If you can, if anyone's out there, just send me something of what you think. Like if there's something that you can point to, a good source. I'm trying to consume this as much as I can. If you can find somebody that is along the same line of thinking, because I know I'm not the only one out there that's thinking this, right? There has to be other people out there that have come to this conclusion. I think they get us all stirred up with the bending of the rifle or the pant leg thing or the changing of the fingers, the rings on the fingers. The waters are always muddied. And if you've ever been involved in a shooting situation, everyone always says, like, when somebody's involved, once there's more than one shot fired, people think there's multiple shooters. That's always a very common thread. Right? So that starts spinning out usually. Once there's more than one shot fired, there are multiple shooters. That's everyone's first go-to, because you have things bouncing off, you have panic, you have chaos. It's a normal reaction. But, this is kind of a similar thing where all of these signals are being pumped out into the world, and it's perfectly curated for an insane person. Like that's what it's meant for. Yes, there's some people that are just going to watch cat videos all day long. They're not interested in those people. Right? But if the algorithm is set up in a certain way where 99.9% of the people are just going to get their nice feedback loop where they just keep watching, they stay in. But again, we're dealing with a population that is very sick, that is heavily medicated. And that if given the right stimulus, if given the right mental stimulus, can be driven to violence. I think that's what we're seeing. It has to be. I can't, there's no other explanation for it, in my view. Because, and this is how I think it's not a straight, you're never going to find a straight conspiracy saying this government paid this guy to do X. Look at all the people that are gloating about it. Look at all the people that are happy with this. Look at all the people that are, now it's slowing down, right? Because people are seeing that there are consequences. Those people never thought there was going to be consequences. And why not? Why didn't they think there was going to be consequences? Because a couple of reasons. One, they think the majority of people agree with them. That's number one, right? So they're so siloed in to their brain, to their algorithm, right? That they think that the majority of people believe what they believe what they think. And then when they get smacked in the face, right? That's them coming outside of the bubble. That's them exiting their silo and seeing, holy shit, there's a lot of people out here that don't think this. There's no way you're going to put that out there thinking that the majority of people are going to be against you, right? You're thinking that this is going to be this is a home run here. That guy killed himself. That guy got killed. Good for him, blah, blah, blah. And you're thinking that I'm good because I know all these, because you're thinking they're all good people. You're thinking you've been brainwashed into thinking this man is bad. All the people that think like me are good. So I'm espousing the good thoughts, right? We did a good thing. A good thing happened. Then you get smacked with the reality of shit. All of these other people don't think like that. All of these other people think that I'm the bad person now. It's a very different thing than than the cancellations that happen on the right. And I knew that was going to be an issue, right? They were going to try to spin it and say that we're canceling them, you know, when we're anti-cancellation or whatever. Well, I know we're still you got to still be accountable. If I say something abhorrent, I'm accountable for it. I'm allowed to say it. No legal action should be taken towards me, right? Nobody's getting locked up. But also, what a lot of the right was saying and was getting canceled for were things that are factually true, which is kind of an issue, right? If I'm espousing a view that may be abhorrent to you, but is factually true, like, well, I don't know, like let's say 50% of blacks are responsible for what was it? 50% of the violent crimes committed by 10% of the population and its minorities. Let's say, take that stat for whatever it's worth. This is not a racist thing to say if it's factually true, right? So then you're okay with canceling that person, but then when a person espouses glee in somebody's murder, so espousing glee for somebody's murder, that's the line in free speech is a call to action, right? That's the line. You cannot call for somebody's murder. You cannot espouse that you are going to commit murder. That's a freedom of speech that doesn't, because then that person is now that person can't be free. That's where freedom of speech kind of cuts off. When your freedom of speech is essentially stopping another person's because now they can't speak because they're in fear of their life. That's kind of where the line needs to be drawn. And that's exactly what's happening. These people are espousing and gleeful in his murder. To which my counter to that is, so that means if I have his same beliefs, or if I agree with his beliefs, then you are also okay in condoning my murder. And you're also okay in condoning the murder of his followers and people that agreed with him. That's a lot of people that you're okay with seeing dead. That's not good. It may not be illegal, but that's what being civilized in a society means. When I think about society, when I think about people, when I think about, a functioning society, there may not be things that are illegal, but we as a society say we don't want that. Right? When you have a child, what is one of the first things you're very grateful for that your child stops doing? Using a diaper, right? Because pooping in your pants is not an acceptable thing. Not illegal, but we understand as a society that we don't want that, right? So that's one of the things that, as when you grow up as a kid, some take longer than others, but you teach them this is how you use the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, use the bathroom, there you go. You don't sit in the living room, crouch down, and take a dump on the dining room table or by the coffee table. It's not acceptable. Not illegal, but it's not acceptable. And this is that type of thing where if you're going to espouse those views and you believe in your mind that that is okay, we are going to teach you as a society that's not okay. And that's what's being done right now. The left is being taught like a child with a diaper on that's maybe, I don't know, 3 years old. It's time to grow up. It's time to not do that thing anymore. You need to reimagine, reorchestrate, rearrange your thinking. Because if you're, and the crazy thing is a lot of these people are vegans. You know, they won't even eat an egg because they're concerned about the life of a chicken that's not even fertilized. Don't even get me started with that. But they're okay with a man with different views that they have being murdered in front of his family. You kind of need to rework the brain up there and figure out what's going on. I actually haven't seen this movie yet. I just played the intro just to give a taste of what I'm thinking. But I mean, in summation, yeah, I think we have to get off the algorithm. We have to get off the phone. Either that or hopefully now the people that were okay with his death and suffered consequences, I think all of the people, right? Because now what's going to happen is hopefully their algorithm is going to broaden. Hopefully, at least a little bit, right? Because they're going to be like, shit, I just got fired, or my friend just got fired, or these people are getting fired. So, you know, everybody that had done it, I guarantee you they took all that shit down. You're not going to see it anymore. And I think it's going to start a retraining process to say, listen, what you do in private is one thing. But if you're going to tell me that you're okay with a man's murder in public, I'm not going to hire you. I'm not going to want you working for me. Probably not going to want you as my friend. So there are going to be consequences for you espousing those things out loud, and maybe give you an opportunity to rethink, why am I thinking this? Why do I think this way? Why do I think this is okay? What brought me to these beliefs? I don't know. Let's see. MK Ultra idea, guys. What do you think? Do you think that we are all mind controlled? I think we are. Drop down below and let me know. If you want to follow me on the X, 6283Talk on the X. If you hit the subscribe button, it really helps me out a lot. I am John Soto. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.